Well, today's project on the old 8N, we are putting on some new tires and wheels on the front. The the original ones are pretty rusted out around the stem, and they just look like crap. And I was afraid when I started tearing them apart, breaking them down, they were going to be really rusty on the inside. So Steiner Tractor had some new replacements, so I got new wheels and rubber. Mounted those tires up last night, so right now we're going to jack it up. We're going to be replacing the wheel bearings on the front, putting the new tires on. A little bit of play in that center pivot, but not much. These wheels have been on there for a year or two. Note to self, probably be easier to take the center hub off before you take the wheel off. But it came loose. So no big. Man, it seems like these at one point were really bad. They're not that bad now. So I may have changed them at some point in the past, but I've got a new set of wheel bearings, so we'll finish pulling it off, see what it looks like. We'll clean all this up, paint the hub here. Yeah, I'll guarantee you I redid these at one point. Now I'm like, do I want to redo them again now, since they seem to be in really good shape, or just roll with them? I think I might just roll with them. I'm going to go ahead and clean this hub up. What I was using out there is an attachment to shoot sand or whatever kind of abrasive you want through your pressure washer. You pick them up off Amazon. It's just an attachment for the end with a hose, but they actually work pretty good. I got it plenty clean enough for me. Just touched it up a little bit with a wire wheel. So now we'll finish getting the grease out, dry it off, and it'll be good to put back on with some paint. Okay, we got the hub all dried out, bearings cleaned up. One thing I did notice, well, the more I thought about it, I do seem to remember changing these bearings or greasing them or something at one point, because I know the tractor got really bad and the front wheels didn't want to turn. So I know I did it. But I was kind of disappointed in myself there for a second, because I looked at it and it's like, that's how the seal was. And it's like, that's backwards. You know, like I've told you on the transmission stuff, you always put the lip of the seal toward what you're wanting to seal in. So it should be like that. But I was like, if I changed it before, I would have put it back. You know, because this has been a long time ago, pre-internet, where you could look stuff up. So I would have put it back how it came out. So it must have been like that. So I got to looking, and this is not technically, it's listed as a dust seal instead of a grease seal. And it is supposed to go like this with the lip facing outward, because it is more to keep dirt out of the bearing than it is to keep grease in the bearing. So keep that in mind. They did it a little different on this older stuff, but it does go like that. So I'm going to pack the wheel bearings, get the hub back on there, wipe the hub down, spray it down with some solvent, give it a shot of paint. We can put the tire back on. Have you seen the meme where it says, you've never hand packed a wheel bearing and it shows? Yeah, I ain't that guy. I've hand packed a lot of them. And if you don't know how, you're trying to push the grease up in there till it starts coming out the top. So you just shave it down. Trying to make sure I'm in the frame here. Just shave it down the side and keep working it around. I even bought a wheel bearing packer at one time. I just usually do it this way. The only change I made over the years, now I wear gloves. I'm not filling the hub completely full of grease, but I am making sure that everything in there is coated. And I was just checking on this seal. There is nothing for the inside to ride on like a normal grease seal does. So this part butts up against the flange on the spindle to keep the dust out. So kind of a weird setup, but apparently works. Yeah, the memories are coming back. See that little cut there? I did that. If I remember right, these bearings, well, that was the deal. I couldn't get the hub off to start with, and I ended up having to cut that inner race off. And back then, I was trying to cut all the way through everything. On a bearing, they're so hard, you can get most of the way cut, hit it with a chisel, it'll snap. So I don't end up cutting that deep anymore. Didn't hurt anything, but I have been in here and done these. So the other side, it turns nice and smooth. I will probably just roll it over, sandblast the hub and paint it, not even take it apart. Okay, she's in there, lock nut, new cotter pins. Now all we got left is the cap. I'll clean this up, shoot it with a little paint. All right, there is the finished product. Silver and black. I like it. I'm gonna take the other side over, pull the tire and wheel off, sandblast that hub, make them look the same. Hey, side 2 is done and looking good. One other little thing that I got done while I was here was the muffler clamp. It had been leaking really bad on the inside edge there. And I think what was wrong was I think the clamp was upside down. Because the way they had it before, you could grab onto the pipe and you could pull it away out of the clamp from where it hooks to the muffler, or hooks to the manifold. Because I tried putting it back on the same way it was with new bolts, and it didn't matter how tight it was, you could still pull it out. So I flipped it over. Yeah, now it holds really tight. You probably can't see it, but the writing on the bottom of it is now right side up. And I am not taking credit for this one, because when Dad bought the tractor, this part here was rotted off of the manifold, and he had the neighbor guy, I believe, put the manifold and the exhaust on. So it wasn't me. But it's on there right side up now, or upside right, or whatever, and it doesn't leak, so we're good. Next up, heck, I don't know. There's so many things to do. We'll figure out something. Oh, I got a new seat. A new seat and a spring. That'll be tomorrow. Thanks for watching.